I want to like dance, I want to drum, but then like my heart, like I feel like that's in my heart, but then looking at me, like I feel like I don't belong.
I want to heal so that my children don't have to experience the same cycles of abuse that I've had to endure.
I'm absolutely proud to be an Indigenous woman. Us women are strong, but together we're even stronger.
I feel so bad for them. I feel so bad for our young girls. It's right there in front of us nowadays. We are the caregivers of water because we are the ones who carry the babies in our womb, and the water is protecting that baby. It's significant for us as women. It's healing. My aunt and uncle protected me quite well, so I didn't know I was even Indigenous. I never gave it much thought because they never shared their language, they never shared their culture because they were told not to. And I didn't know that when I was little, that they made no connotations like with a bow and arrow, but I didn't know why they did that. I didn't know that I was actually pointing at me because I was Indian. I didn't know that. Because we used to watch cowboys and Indians in the movies. It was a big thing, and not realizing that that they're killing Native people on horses and that, I had no idea. Or they would make all these hoots and hollers, and I didn't know that I was Native. Oh, miigwech. Our people were very confined on First Nation land, and we couldn't do anything without permission. That's hard. It's hard to believe.
My childhood was good up until my mother got her settlement from the government for the abuse she endured while she was in residential school. She had all this unsurfaced trauma because she had to explain what she went through while she was in residential school. It was a non-disclosure settlement, so she couldn't speak about what she went through. She didn't have any help to cope with what she was going through. Watching my mom struggle was very hard for me to do. I knew that she was in a lot of pain. I knew why she was in a lot of pain. I saw her suffer. I saw her, cope with her trauma in an unhealthy way. My heart broke for her as a child, and I took care of her. I would put her to bed at, 4 or 5 a.m. every night, and when she was drinking, I would wrestle razor blades out of her hand when she wanted to take her own life, and then go to school the next day.
Growing up on the res, I was more white passing, so I more dealt with like not fitting in or feeling like I didn't belong. I would get teased a lot because I was white and maybe I didn't fit in and look like everybody else. But I also feel like I am Indigenous. My dad, my adopted dad, he was full Native, and he was ashamed to be Native too. And when I wanted to go do culture things on the reserve, they wouldn't let me go because they didn't want me to partake in anything. So it's like growing up, I wasn't allowed to partake in it. So like now as an adult, I struggle. So some days I want to like dance, I want to drum, but then like my heart, like I feel like that's in my heart, but then looking at me, like I feel like I don't belong.
I did experience some racism through my childhood. At the time, I didn't really know why, that it was because I was Indigenous. It was mostly because of my skin color. I got teased a lot. I still feel like it still happens, and it's heartbreaking. And a lot of the times I'm not sure. Sometimes I stop myself and I'm like, are they being racist? Like, why am I being treated this way? Or why am I being ignored? In my teen years, I met my partner, and throughout that relationship, there was a lot of violence. It was very controlling, to the point that I wasn't even allowed to identify as being Indigenous. So again, I wasn't able to connect with my culture and my identity and who I am as an Indigenous woman. And that was for a long time. That was like good 10 years of my life.
Here's my grandson, Bentley. Aw, his birthday. The importance of knowing who we are as Anishinaabe people and sharing that with our children now gives us that balance that we need, because we struggle. We struggle on our identity, and if we don't know it. But now, as years have come to today, we're getting to realize how significant it is for our children to know their identity, to speak their language, to know their culture. We have young ones dancing now. We have young ones drumming and have their own drum group. We have women who want to pick up the drum and sing songs and know about what those meanings, those dances are for. It gives us pleasure.
We are still struggling with a very broken system. We still have discrimination with the police, with the school system. Every single system, I have experienced racism or some type of oppression.
I think Indigenous women are more prone to violence, domestic violence, and trauma because of the fact of us growing up with trauma in our households and not the proper, some of us grew up with like not being showed affection and love, told we're loved. So we go out seeking for this in the wrong places and we trust the wrong people. Society has made it known that the police don't put in a lot of effort to look for Indigenous women. And a lot of people target the reserves. So I feel like there's a lot of, I think people just take advantage of knowing that the police aren't going to do anything when it comes to Indigenous people and women. So they prey on us.
I feel so bad for them. I feel so bad for our young girls. And it's right there in front of us nowadays. Our loss of our identity and that is significant because we were colonized. And I would say that that's my ancestors. That's the history back in the 50s and the 40s. And, you know, when they took away our medicines, our culture, our language, and we were threatened that if we did that we would be thrown in jail or we'll take your kids. And it was a bad time. We were taken away everything. Kids were taken away, and our parents and that had nobody to take care of, and so they went into residential schools. They didn't have any love. They didn't have any of those good things, and then they expect them to go out and have a family, but they didn't know what to do. We learned by watching, and we learned how to do that, but there was no kids to take care of to do that.
The TRC, like, I think it's like 8 years now since that. And since then, like, it's 94 calls to action. Since then, there's only been 13 that have been completed. And in 2023, zero calls to action were completed. That's infuriating.
Today we're here with the Aurelia Native Women's Group at their location at the Common Roof in Aurelia, honoring Red Dress Day for the missing and murdered Indigenous women of Canada. It's a call for action to the government to put pressure on them to do more when they are filed missing.
The day impacted me a lot, especially this year, because it was the first year without my daughter, Jaden, who lost her life in December. That day meant a lot to me. It was a bittersweet day, because it's the day that we like to acknowledge and we like to bring awareness to. So the fact that I didn't have my oldest daughter with us that day was extremely difficult. Everyone refers to her as just a girl with a heart of gold, and she would give the shirt off her back for anybody. Her saying or quote was, "It's not a bad life, it's just a bad day." And I think everybody is really holding on to that now. 6 months ago, I had another baby, a baby girl. Her name's Olivia, but I call her Livy. And that was 12 days before losing Jaden. So I have no words or anything. I can't even express or explain how insanely unfair that felt and difficult to birth this beautiful baby girl and bring her into life, and then lose my first baby girl and have to send her off to the spirit world. It was the most difficult and unbearable time, and I would never wish it on any parent or any person.
My healing process has been very long. I struggled a lot with things like self-harm growing up, and alcoholism, and just unhealthy relationships, not valuing myself. I've had to learn how to love myself. I had to learn how to overcome all of these obstacles and still continue to push myself to work hard every day to be a better person, because I can't control what goes on around me. This is a very sacred and safe place to me. When I was going through a lot of my struggles and struggling with my traumas and stuff like that, I would come here. I would bring my kids to sit by the water. We would go for nature hikes, and being around nature, being around water is very healing for me, because it cleanses my energy. If I'm feeling emotional, it helps to ground me, and I get clarity when I walk through nature. It's just a place that I came that's very safe and very sacred for me to be.
Take a deep breath. I'm gonna let you just actually take the lead. Yeah? Yeah. So, one of the things I remind people when they come into the arena with a horse is that the horse is very aware of all the noise that's going on. Walk around.
We're here today to do horse therapy. Being with the horses helps me remember to take the deep breaths and to be in the moment and to focus on my body and listen to what my body is telling me. I'm always in my mind and reliving past trauma. So by learning to breathe and practice those steps, it helps me with my healing process.
Listening to your body.
A lot of the times we're hiding behind masks and years worth of trauma and years worth of history that horses really don't take any of that into account. So they are a great reminder of, even though we have a past and we know that and we can acknowledge it and perhaps heal from that, they want us to be who we are right now.
I think Terry is amazing because she takes the time to explain what's going on with the horses and what is going on with ourselves and how we can relate to the horses and how the horses relate to us. And she really breaks things down, and she's just caring, and she's patient, and she helped me a lot in my healing. My videos or any of.
Who are you? With Zach.
We are at the 60 Scoop pathway that was recreated to welcome home our 60 Scoop families. And the Ojibwe name is Mshkawziikwewag. So it means children coming home.
I know what kind of resilient person my mother is. She raised me, and she raised me to be resilient. And I know what kind of strong, powerful woman that she came from. And what I'm going to teach my children is, of course, going to come from my mother and her mothers and her sisters. So it all passes down to the women behind me.
So today we're going to Christian Island. I'm going to be delivering and dropping off some donations of baby items for a young teen mom. I was a teen mom, so I was 15 when I was pregnant with my son, and I had him when I was 15, so like a month and a half before I turned 16. So back then, like, I didn't have any supports, and there wasn't a lot out there, like, for teen moms, and especially Indigenous teen moms. So I just want to pay it forward and just, help out another teen mom and let her know that she's not alone. I think she's feeling really excited too. Like, I'm excited to meet her. She's excited to meet me. So when I put out the call, I guess, or whatever, like, I was posting looking for specifically an Indigenous teen mom, I had multiple people message me, and they all messaged regarding the same young teen mom. So that kind of just made my heart melt, that there were so many people looking out for this young girl.
Nice to meet you. Oh, nice to meet you. It's Giles.
I loved that day. It was incredible to meet her, and it just it brought me back to when I was a teen mom. And, I never really realized, like, how young teen moms are. It was great, and I was happy to be able to provide her with all those things. I just wanted her to feel as ready and prepared as possible and have everything that she needs for her baby. So I was very happy to be a part of that.
Yeah, you too.
I feel like a part of me was missing, and I didn't know who I was. So I feel like going back and learning the culture and learning the ways of living are helping me inside and helping my heart and my mind, and just all around my healing. It's healing to just get to know your culture. I've been doing a lot of healing for my family and my generational trauma for, like, my ancestors, my grandma, my mom, and myself and my children, because I realized that it trickles down. So I realized that I need to do the healing that I need to do in order so my kids don't have to do as much as that healing later on in life.
I make dream catchers, and that definitely helps with my healing process. My mom, before she passed away, she taught me how to make dream catchers. And I didn't do it for a very long time, up until last year, when I was struggling a lot with myself and with the Every Child Matters movement, the Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women movement. I've definitely used making dream catchers not only to financially survive, but to bring me closer to my mom.
Everybody powwow, everybody dance. Dance your style, dance your style.
The jingle dress, which is the regalia that I'm wearing right now, is really significant to us Anishinaabe people who are out here at the powwow. We talk about this dress being gifted to our communities as a healing dress. The sound it makes mimics the sound of that rain, that Bino Bawe, that healing rain, and it's supposed to bring healing to the people who hear that sound, as well as the person who's wearing that dress.
Round of applause, everyone. Our dancers are now in the arena at this time.
Our culture talks to us all about balance. So the women are just as important as the men. We can't have one without the other. It's a fire and water, give and take. It's all about balance and respect and forming those relationships. So there'll be times where we honor just the women, and there'll be times when we honor just the men. And it's all about that balance and coming together as community to uphold everyone.
There was a question one day that somebody said, "Why are we dancing? And why are you dancing?" And this woman hesitated to her husband, no less, who was non-native, said, "I'm dancing for my people, the people who've gone on. I'm dancing for myself." We dance for our ancestors who've gone on. It gives us pleasure.
Since the initial interview, I feel like that I've gotten a chance to be more connected to the culture and had more opportunities to work alongside some of the healers in the community, and that my sense of belonging with the culture is becoming greater. Hey. I messed up in my early years with my kids, and I made it my duty to turn my life around and show my kids that no matter what you do in life, you can always change it and do better. And I would also like to, I'm in the process and I've been healing myself so that my kids don't have so much generational trauma that they're healing themselves from, so.
Today we're here to celebrate and honor my daughter Jaden. We're doing a combined celebrating her graduating high school and her birthday on the 15th that's coming up. She would be 23.
Hey, baby, I'm gonna get you, you know.
My kids motivate me and push me. It's because I want to create a better future for them. I want them to have better opportunities. I want them to have access to supports. I want them to be healed. I want them to know themselves in and out. I want them to have that stability in their whole self. So I want to keep honoring her as much as I can, as often as I can, as big as I can.
Do you want to jump? I want to heal so that my children don't have to experience the same cycles of abuse that I've had to endure. There needs to be more supports in helping women break these cycles.
I think we still need to educate our communities to share the value of what women do, and to encourage our young women that you are strong women. You're the hope in our community, so that we can inspire everybody to do the work that we're supposed to be as good moms. And we can still do good things, but we need to have balance, and also have that balance with men.
There's not enough words that I can say about my daughter. I'm so proud of her and everything she's accomplished, and she's still doing it even having had a loss. Sometimes I think that Olivia is helping her get through her sorrow, you know, the hard days. I look at it as a gift too. Yeah, I'm just so proud, and I love her so much, and yeah.
My mom is with me every day. My mom is here with me every day. She's watching over me. I talk to her and she guides me in the right direction. She keeps me safe. She keeps my kids safe. She's definitely here with me every day.
I am proud to be an Indigenous person, but an Mshkawziikwewag. It makes me feel proud to walk in my community, to know who I am, as that woman. Women were looked upon years ago as the leaders. That, you know, we were the ones who did things, and we were looked upon in a good way. And that was that interference of that colonization. And now we're trying to bring that back and do things, because in our community, if it wasn't for the women, I don't think we would have had the culture right now.
We need to empower each other. I feel like as women we need to start empowering each other and stop bringing each other down, and working together and building each other up. I am very proud to be Indigenous. I don't really know why, the culture, the teachings, everything is just beautiful. And I mean, it's the one thing that helped me on my healing and recovery journey, and it's beautiful, and I wish I got to grow up with it, and I want to learn more and know more.
I'm absolutely proud to be an Indigenous woman. Us women are strong, but together we're even stronger. So I just encourage that they keep sharing and telling their truths, and they keep bringing awareness, and we just keep, you know, charging through the doors and making change and building that connection with all our women and our young girls to follow.
I'm very proud to be Indigenous, because that's where I get my power from. That's where I get my strength from. That's where I get my kindness from. I'm very proud to be Indigenous.